Let's continue with where we left off last week and define the steering behaviors for our ants. Hey Ravi.
Hey RK.
Hey, how's it going, man?
We are on to the second part of the ants,
Of the
right?
ant system.
So what is
Yeah.
planned today?
So last week we just left with defining the ant system, and then we just designed the ant, and we just
Shall we
created
have a look at that?
Sure, no problem. Let me just switch cameras over here. Alright, so what we did was we just designed the canvas and we designed the ant also.
Oh, there
So
it
this
is.
is what the ant
Right.
looks like. And the idea today is that, there
Oops.
you go, it just flew off the wall. The idea today is that I will do three things. We'll give it wall avoidance in such a way that it remains
Absolutely.
within the boundary of the canvas.
Makes sense.
And we'll also give it random walk. And the idea is that it can search for food all across its environment.
Right.
All right. And the third thing is we'll also give it food seeking behavior. I want to give the ant a hit box. And if there is food within that hit box, then it essentially steers into that food.
Got
is what we want to be doing today.
Super.
And you know what? The fourth thing, it's not really technical, but I want to avoid using the word essentially once every 10 words. Because I just reviewed the last video. I've used that word so many times.
It's
It's,
like basically,
It's like basically. It's
Basically.
awkward is what I'm trying to say.
essentially, basically.
All
All right. So let's see if you win.
Yeah, let's get cracking. All right, let's get started. We are going to be writing steering behaviors for our ants. And for that, it's important to learn these two terms, magnitude and normalization. Magnitude is another way of saying how long is this vector? Or in other words, it's the hypotenuse of a vector. Normalizing refers to the process of making something standard or normal. So we know where a vector is pointing to. Normalizing is saying if the standard length of a vector is supposed to be 1, how is it going to be normalized to that 1? We can do these two things using functions over here, and I have defined these functions below. You can see that the function magnitude is the square root of the squares of the two components of a point. All right, and the normalize method first finds out the magnitude and then returns a new point, which is the x and the y components divided by the magnitude. That is how you normalize something. A much better explanation of the vector, magnitude, and normalization is explained in the Khan Academy website. I will leave a link to this chapter in the description. All right, let's start by declaring a function called subtract in the point class. Now, the point class exists in the CodeSpace API file. The subtract is pretty self-explanatory. It just reduces the x and the y components from the current points x and y components and returns a new point. Let's also create a function called normalize, and let's put the pseudocode that we saw in the presentation over here in the code. Now the way we do that is by first finding out the magnitude, which is essentially nothing but the hypotenuse. If the magnitude is not equal to 0, now we need to do this check because to find the normalization, we need to divide the x and the y components of the point by the magnitude that we have found out. Now if the magnitude was 0, then we would be in trouble, which is why I'm checking for not equal to 0 and then returning a new point with the normalized values. All right, in the ant class, I'm going to create a member variable called search point, which for now is initialized to a random point on the screen. And I do this by using the use of the random between function, which just randomly defines a point on the screen. Now that I have this random point declared on the screen, I would also need a way for this to be set inside the ant class. So I'll declare a set search point method. Let's also render this search point on the screen. We will try and render this in the green color. So I'm setting the fill style appropriately as green. And to make it a little bit faster, we'll just copy an existing arc function and we'll replace it with the search point variables. I'm going to give it an arbitrarily a size of 3 because I think that's enough. That's appropriate enough. All right. In the main ants file, we'll add the mouse event listener to the canvas. We can do it this way, where I create a function, and we'll get the mouse position using an inbuilt function in the CodeSpace API called getRealMousePosition. And once we have that mouse position, we will set it to the first ant we find on the screen using the setSearchPoint function. All right, let's see what we've done till now. We have an ant that doesn't really move, and the reason for that is, well, we've set its speed to 0, and we've not yet defined its steering behavior. But you can see the search point rendered on the screen, and you can see that every time I click on the canvas, it sets the search point to the place I have clicked. Good. Now let's define the steering behavior now. All right. To steer our ant to a particular location, we are going to be using a very well-known algorithm that goes like this. We first find out the desired location by subtracting the current location from the target location. All right. Once you have the desired location, we'll normalize it. We've already discussed what normalization is. That will give us something called as, and now we derive something called as the desired speed. The desired speed is the desired location multiplied by the maximum allowed speed for the ant. And over here, I've defined it as max ant speed. And from there, we derive something called as the steering force. Now, this is the force that will be applied to the current speed. And the steering force is defined as, the desired speed minus the current speed. So once we have that, we add the steer force to the current speed, and the speed is added to the current position. All right. So let's get coding this and see how it goes. All right. To start us off, I'm going to create a constant here called maximum ant speed. I think it's self-explanatory as to what this does. Okay. Having done that, let's start writing the step function. We first find the desired location, which is nothing but the search point or the target location minus the current location. All right. Once we have the desired location, let's also find the desired direction or the direction in which we want to head, which is the normalized value of the desired location. And once we have that location, let's also find the desired speed, which is nothing but the desired direction multiplied by the maximum speed. All right. Both the X and the Y components need to be multiplied by the maximum speed, which will give us the desired speed in the desired direction. Once we do that, we can calculate the force, which is nothing but the speed minus the current speed. All right, with the desired speed minus the current speed, we add the speed, we add the force to the speed, and then the speed gets added to the position. So let's just complete that. All right, so the positions are changed using the speed. I should have probably used the proper variable naming conventions. All right. All right, so let's see what that looks like. Let me refresh, and you can see that when I now click on the canvas, the point changes and the ant follows to its search location. All right. It's evident from this that this requires a little bit of polishing. So let's get on that. To do that, I'm going to create a function in the point class called limit, which will limit the X and the Y values to a maximum value parameter over here. And it can be done in this manner, where I can just check if the X is greater than the max val, then it becomes the max val. If X is less than the negative value of max val, I just set it to the negative value of max val. So once I have done that, I will also do the same thing for the Y direction so that I can just change these variable values. And once I have that, I also will need a constant over here called the constant steer speed. All right. So this is how fast the ant can turn. All right. Let's limit the force that we have calculated to the maximum steer speed or the steer force. I'm going to call it steer force over here. I need to limit the force of the turning by that maximum steer speed or the steer force, and then also limit the speed to the maximum ant speed. Let's see what that looks like, shall we? All right, let me just refresh the screen, and you can see now that there is definitely a limit in the speed, but then this sort of weird behavior happens. All right, that's because our maximum steer force that we have defined as 2 is obviously very high. I'm going to change this to a more reasonable value. It should be really very small. So I'm going to change this to 0.2, and let's see what happens to our steering behavior now. And now you'll see that our steering is much more natural looking, right? It really turns as if it was a real ant. All right. So if this was a food source, if it was just sort of looking for food, you can see that the steering is so much more natural. All right, all because of those limits that we placed. So Ravi, will stop with that. We were supposed to do the wall avoidance and the food follow also, but that took a longer time than I expected.
Right.
But we did actually learn something out of the steering behavior. It turned out really well. So you've seen the results. It looks really well. How it steers
very
slowly into this one.
Correct.
And it's not very it's not very difficult to sort of extend from this and allow it to avoid wall collision and even food following. Once we have the basic steering behavior designed, it's not very difficult to sort of extend from here.
Sure.
Is what I would say.
All
right.
Okay.
So I would say let's just end it over here.
End the episode here, and we will
continue it in the next week,
So
which I think would be like the chunk of the work that we would do.
Okay.
All right. So do join us back again next week. Subscribe, and we'll see you again next week. Bye bye.
Ciao.